Hello, and welcome back. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for watching so diligently and regularly. It's a really big contributor to our motivation here for what we're doing with this old junk, this garbage. Look what we have here. It can actually be held in on its own. What I did on Saturday, it's been kind of a crazy week. I don't really know where the evenings and afternoons have gone this week. I know Joe took the 70 down to, or up to, I guess from him it's up to Columbia to day 2 Hot Rod Power Tour. Very cool. He had a great time there. I was working, and I'm 12 hours north of that area, so not happening. But in any case, I'm so glad he had a great time. A lot of comments. People were really digging what he was doing. So good for him. And that's what this is all about, So let's get back to this briefly. And I got to live vicariously through him a little bit on that trip. But what I did over, I guess, the weekend today, I guess probably the weekend, is this window channel is actually now forever and always welded into the car. It's only spot welded around the perimeter here. You guys can see it's just spot welded around the perimeter and all the way down around the back of the C-pillars, leaving only the rear window sill here to be permanently welded in. But I even have the roof support permanently welded in. That might have already been covered. Getting a little scatterbrained here where I'm at. So what I'm going to do here now is just show you this real quick. I'll flip the camera around because I'm just not good at doing this whole thing 2 at a time. But let me briefly touch upon the fact that this is just a clear glass. This is not the glass that's going to go in the car, because this car was originally equipped with green glass, the AO1 glass, which we have from when Nick brought out that donor shell. He brought a whole set of windows, excluding the windshield. But we have all the correct glass that's going to go in this car. This is just plain clear, which is good because it's a good spare for my car, F85, clear. But even Joe's 70, the QB, has AO1 green glass. So this is all very good. This is all very encouraging. The last bit that has to be welded in is this piece. I'm going to work on that now. And then I'm going to show you briefly where I'm going to head next. And that's going to be right here. All right, so like I was saying, this whole thing is welded in. Kind of, definitely permanently, certainly not finished. The roof is about as good as it's going to get. We're going to insert, I think, pictures of the roof that I started with, and this is all but a finished product. There's no roof supports in here anymore. They've been hacked out so that we can gain access to the whole center section. And now I have the locations of the front, center, and the left and the right. Of course, the rear was totally gone, but there's the rear roof support welded in place from that donor car, so that's permanent. And I have the section of the roof support here that we're going to use inside the roof once we're done. But in any case, I'm going to work on more welding there, pull the glass out obviously, and get this rear sill welded in place permanently, because we do have still obviously a little bit of flex in the quarters. And over here, there's a big, really handsome dent right in here from that tree. So this is about as flat as we can get this. I think, at some point I gotta just draw the line, man. But I wanna have this all fixed. And I have this wonderful piece of roof that I can cut the section out there and use. So I think that's where I'm headed immediately after doing some welding. Not exciting, like I said before, but still has to be done. I will have to punch some holes in this to get this welded in. That's my plan for tonight and this evening. Then we might even spin the car around so we can work on the front that way. But again, this is the roof. I know to all of you, you might say, wow, it doesn't look so bad. We'll put some pictures of what we started with. It looks much better in camera. It's really not pretty. Got a lot of, innies or outies, whatever you call it, from the inside dented out, just to try and just tighten up that roof skin. Because this thing was really oil canning everywhere. You can see in the reflection here, lots of this stuff. So again, when you guys see this at Pebble Beach, you'll know how it all happened. Removed the rear window sill to prep it for punching some holes in it to weld it into the package tray. And this came to me as I removed it. I still have to build pieces to fill these holes. The original package tray would have come into here and met the quarter flange. I can't just cover that with the rear windowsill. I mean, I guess I could. I'm not gonna. You know, I went through all of this work to make these silly parts. I don't want this to look, you know, disgusting from underneath. So, gonna have a little delay in the game here, everybody, because this is, you know, a corner that, quite no pun intended here, this is a corner I am gonna cut. I'm gonna cut metal to make this corner happen. I'm not gonna cut the corner by leaving those not there and just welding the rear windowsill to this. Yuck. All right, I can do it. I just get my mind right. I knew I didn't want to build these pieces until everything was in and lined up, and I guess by putting the windowsill in place and doing some relatively rudimentary celebrating, I'm like, oh yeah, I just gotta prep that thing and weld it in. Nope. Took it out. I'm like, oh, dang it. So, here we go. Got out the paper, got out the scissors. I'll start making templates for this. Put a little bend in it. I have to do a little step here for the, this is the weather stripping channel. This is the one side of the weather stripping channel. All right, blah, blah, blah. Let me make some metal here and show you guys what I come up with. Well, back at my hammer bag, which is really my old bath mat. I come up with something like this, which really doesn't look like much, but this is only after about 15 minutes or so. And here's what I get to do. I get to slide this piece in here, like so. And I start closing that gap up the way I want. Now I just have to be able to get this void here filled. And I think if I manipulate this metal up a little bit more, I can start getting that all closed up. That's the plan. Look at this silly little piece of metal. I kind of tested myself to see if I could make it out of one piece. And I guess I will call this a loose interpretation of a success. I'm not thrilled with it, but I think it's gonna suffice. If I go something like this, one can see that, actually that piece goes under, that it's gonna kind of fall, actually that goes like that. It's gonna fall in there pretty well. And then I'm gonna be able to, I know it's tough for you guys to see what's what, but I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a pretty important corner here. A lot of pieces of the car go together here. The trunk lip, you know, the trunk weather strip lip, the quarter panel, the package tray, the windowsill, the blah, blah, blah. Those stinking mounting flanges, the window channel. So I think this piece of metal, which only took me, oh, I don't know, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. You know, the beauty is if you can get it to go in without banging and prying. Obviously I have a little bit of a gap there, but seam sealer and weather stripping is our friend. So there you have it. That'll all kind of go together and look like something when it's all welded and ground and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's good. Not too shabby with this little piece of guy here, okay? Now we just have to do the other side, which is, of course, a little bit of a different shape. That's for maybe tomorrow night or Saturday. I'm smoked here, so. Okay, maybe this will make a video for this week. I don't know. You know, we pounded on the roof quite a bit. Did a bunch of welding around there. I really thought I was gonna prep this windowsill and tack it in the car tonight and get maybe even going on this windshield portion here. But such is not the case. Yes, I have a blanket on there so we don't scratch the paint. No way. I don't want to crack the glass. So there's a better close-up of how kind of like floor of the moon this thing is looking. But better than it was. Certainly better than it was. And I think I can say that, you know, something like this, yeah, it fits pretty good. Fits pretty good. Love getting back into arts and crafts. And what I did is just take some oak tags, some old manila folder really, and I think they call it manila folder. And I just made like a template. And this is going to transfer onto some sheet metal. And then I'll be able to duplicate this. This side, you know, everything is a little bit different, you know, side to side. That side was more of an over-under kind of a game, the way it wanted to live. This one is more over. So I think it's gonna sit right on top here, as opposed to the other one really wanted to kind of be under this lip of the package tray. So I think that's the plan. So this crude piece of junk is starting to take a little bit of shape here. What I ended up doing is holding it in place, kind of smashing my thumb down here and bending it down in there. It's just starting to get this little relief here, this curve in here. I want it flat here on top of the package tray, and I want it flat where the window channel and the quarter meet. This has a much bigger hole over here on the side. So, and I have this little lip here. Look at me up my gloves, oh boy. I have this lip here to kind of catch up with that quarter panel seam. But what I think I'm gonna do as a trick is I'm gonna put a pair of clamps right here, and then I'm gonna try to draw this part down to it. Let's see if this works. I put a clamp here, sorry about that. I put a clamp here on the edge of the piece of metal, pushing it down into place. I have obviously had the a pair of vice grips holding it to the side of the car. And then really all I did is I took a nice, beautiful, high quality persuader here, and I started giving it the shape I wanted in there. And I even have my little flange, which I know everybody loves me saying the word flange, over that part of the car. So that is kind of, I guess, the down and dirty way to form a patch that really all I'm gonna do is just fill this void between the package tray and the quarter panel. So I'll do a little bit of trimming here, clean it all up, and then I guess I'll prep this for welding in place. Okay, so for those interested, here is the results. Here are the results, I'm sorry, of my patches in the corners. Crude, I admit, but let's remember this is what's gonna happen right now. Okay, this thing is going in there. And you're never gonna see that stuff. So there you have it. I'm gonna screw this thing in place, start putting some holes in it, and start spot welding it.